to Up-and-Comers of Hollywood, your go-to channel for exclusive insight into the world of rising talent, where we'll be shining a spotlight on the latest success stories and industry insights that are shaping the future of Hollywood and the entertainment industry. Subscribe to Up-and-Comers of Hollywood's YouTube channel and follow us on our podcast. Let's embark on this exciting journey together. First up, let's celebrate the recent success stories of some incredible up-and-comers in Hollywood. From breakout performances to industry breakthroughs, these rising stars are making waves in the entertainment industry. We'll be discussing their journey to success, the challenges they overcome, and the impact they're making on the industry. Stay tuned as we uncover the inspiring stories of these talented individuals. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back to Up-and-Comers of Hollywood, and I am your host, Marie Finch. I am so excited today, like I am with all of my guests. I am so grateful for every guest that I get to interview because they bring so much to the podcast and to just life in general. But today's guest is none other than Helena Geraci. She is a theater, film, and television actress from Sicily. She has been in many short films, commercials, and feature films. Helena is going to highlight her challenges and successes she encountered while adapting to life in Los Angeles, including her experience in theater, feature films, and finding the right agent. We're going to also discuss the role in her creating a new organization called LA Creative Circle, a community aimed at helping fellow creatives navigate the entertainment industry. Without further ado, Helena Geraci. Hello, Helena Geraci.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God, I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this.
You have an interesting journey that we want to share and how you came all the way here to Hollywood. Helena and I met on set
We did.
a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, and I really liked you immediately. I thought you were one of the cool ones. I think we just exchanged numbers and stayed in contact.
Yes. And we've been following each other on
Yes.
Instagram. I love that we can keep in touch with each other that way and DM each other and share things because I'm such a great supporter of you. And I love supporting all my fellow actors and actresses.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And this is amazing that you're doing this podcast. It's super exciting.
Thank you so much. You have a podcast too, right?
I do. I did start with a friend, a podcast that is called Split in Half, and it tells the journey of two Italians living in America. All the challenges and the excitements of living abroad and the cultural differences and our entrepreneurial experience.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So you guys got to check out her podcast as well.
Thank you.
So let's talk about your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from? I can guess where you're from, but let's tell the audience where you're from and how you got into acting and just tell us your journey. I'm really excited to hear about it.
I'm from Sicily and I moved here about 6 years ago. Originally not to do acting, but to do marketing and project management. I worked in the field for over 10 years. And so I originally moved here to continue the corporate journey of mine. And when I moved here, I did realize that acting was really my call. I started acting when I was in my early 20s in Sicily. I did theater for a few years. I really love it. I thought that was going to be my journey, but then when you're in your 20s and your parents tell you, go get a real degree, start a real career, get a job that is secure and all of that, you follow their lead. And also I want to have a secure job back then. So I did a career in marketing that really secured something for me professionally. But when I moved here, I was surrounded by artists and that bell that I had inside me started ringing again. I remember it was December 2019, right before pandemic. And I decided to gift myself with an acting class for Christmas, just to see how it could go potentially. And I love it. As soon as I went on stage and I read the script that the teacher gave me to practice with my scene partner, I was, oh my God, I should have done this 15 years ago. Where have I been?
So it all came back.
It all came back. And when I came back on stage, it felt so natural. And I had a lot of people in the audience. I should have been stressed or nervous. I was a little nervous, but it just felt so natural. And I felt that was my place. So when I was there, I slowly decided to have a shift in my career. And I started doing more acting, more classes, and I started to do some short films, some commercials. And little by little, I go back into this career and kind of took a break from my previous one. And I like to call myself a multi-passionate individual because I like many things. And I think you can have more than one career at the same time. So I did not abandon my original job, which is marketing and project management, but I'm giving much more space to acting as my strongest asset right now.
Now, have you stopped altogether your main career? Or I wouldn't say main career. They're both good careers.
Different careers.
Different, right? 100%.
I did not stop it. I did not want to have a clean cut and feel unstable because we know acting is like a roller coaster. You work, then you don't work, then you work, then you don't work. It's project based. I wanted to have something stable in the background. I'm still doing marketing. I work as a consultant mostly. And I also got certified recently as a life coach. So that's another piece of the puzzle that I added. My main joy comes from being on stage or being on set. And then that's my creative outlet that I need, that I seek.
No, I do know because like you, I was in the business field for many years. Mm-hmm. I took acting lessons when I was in my 20s. And I remember the instructor said, oh, you're going to have to do years of theater before you get to film and TV. I'm like, I don't have time. I'm in my 20s. I need to make money. I need to buy a house. I need to have kids. My thought processes were different. I wasn't in LA. I was in Sacramento. It wasn't a big film community back then. So I just gave it up until I found there were some films coming to Sacramento, and I was casted as a businesswoman in a major film, and I was on set, and I go, this was it.
Wow.
I took my time and took theater and acting lessons again and just building up my resume, and then I retired early. I took the early retirement, less money. But
freedom,
more freedom. It was worth it. You came during 2019, which is the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then after the pandemic, because I came here at the same time, really interesting. I retired in 2019. We have a lot of same things going on. Then the strike hit. Just when things were happening, the strike hit us. So I know what you're saying. It's up and downs. Like anything can happen with the industry and the economy. So it's nice to have so many different things and outlets and things that you can do to make money while you do what you love.
I think it's really important. I support artists who want to do 100% acting or whatever creative pursuit they want to continue. But I also think in moments like this, like with the strike, I was really glad that I had something else that could support me and I did not have necessarily to struggle. And I think it's really important in the long run to make sure that you're safe, that you're secured and all of that. But definitely I had to make some arrangements with my career. I could not have a 9-to-5 full-time in the office job. I had to transform that into a remote work and part-time. That was an adjustment as well. I've been working usually in the office, in person, literally old school. When if you go to the bathroom, your manager asks you, where have you been? The type of place where I started, especially in Europe. And so it was a big adjustment for me to work remotely and work project-based because as a consultant, I get hired for a certain project and then you need to find the next project. It's a little bit more on the risk side of things, but I love it because that gives me much more space for my creativity, for acting and all of that I could not have if I was just in the office all day. With all due respect with people working in offices, if that's your call, that's amazing. It just wasn't my call, I realized. And it took me 10 years to realize that. I wasn't happy in an office, although I did my job very well. I did the whole corporate ladder type of journey. But at some point you realize when you come back home, you're not happy with what you have done during the day. And that it was not fulfilling me. I needed something different, and that's what acting gives me.
You are well trained. I looked at your bio. You've been training in Italy
Yeah, I did.
For years. So you didn't just come here and, oh, I just want to be an actress. You've been classically trained.
Yeah, theater. I did theater. That's where I started. I was 19 or 20. I was part of 2 theater companies in Sicily. Very classical trained. Very good experience for a few years. And when I moved here, I had to learn again. I had to also train for film and TV, which was a different training that I did not have when I was in Italy. So I was used to like big movements and be very theatrical and using and projecting my voice very far. And my instructors and mentors were like, no, keep it down, smaller space. You're not in theater anymore. So there was an adjustment and I'm still working on it. I don't think you ever stop learning. You're constantly evolving and constantly learning and changing. But there was a great experience when I started training here in the US. I found brilliant teachers. I studied at UCLA, but also in different studios here in Los Angeles. Right now, I'm entering Gilardi Acting Studio, which is an amazing community. And I learned so much. Scene studies alone is an amazing tool and practice, but also improv and commercial auditions and body movement, dialect coaching because of my accent. Also, it's another thing that I have to add to my training and so much to learn. I'm so excited.
I read that you had an UCLA extension certificate in acting. I didn't know there was such a thing.
UCLA does these certificates, which are professional certifications in different fields. The courses are between 9 months and a year and a half, and the teachers are professionals in the industry. Actors, producers, casting directors who give their time and energy to these programs. There are a lot of international people there. And that was one of the reasons why I could also live here for a few years studying at UCLA. So I'm very grateful for that course. It's really practical and you can stay in touch with your teachers because they're coming from this industry. So they tell you all the news, all the most updated information. Especially I did a class called Business of Acting, which was a game changer for me because it teaches you how the business works. A lot of time you come here, you don't really know how the business works. Yeah, you want to be an actor, but you don't know about contracts, about union, non-union, about all the things you need to know, manager, agents, casting, anything. And that course taught me so much about that. And now I know when I have to talk to an agent or a manager or I have to sign a contract, I know what to look for and what questions to ask.
Now I'm going to check into it.
Yeah. And you can get single classes. If you don't want to do the full certificate, you can just get one specific course. Each course is about 3 months, 12 weeks, quite affordable. So it's something that I would recommend if you want to explore more in this business, or if you feel like there are certain areas that maybe you don't know much about, definitely recommend it.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Did you come from Sicily in 2019? Were you always in Sicily this whole time before you came to LA?
Yeah, so I moved a lot. I lived and traveled in different places. I actually moved at the end of 2018 here. And then before I was in Barcelona for a year. Before that, I was in San Diego. So my very first approach with US was San Diego, actually, a few years prior. I lived in Paris. I lived in Milan. I lived in Catania, my hometown in Sicily for a few years. So I really moved a lot thanks to marketing. That's why I don't regret the careers that I've done for 10 years because that allowed me to really travel the world and work. Thankfully, I speak different languages, so that really helped to work and live in different cities.
Which languages do you know?
I speak French and Spanish and Italian, of course, and English. I feel all of these European languages, once you get one, you get all of them.
You're multi-passionate, you're multilingual. See, we're getting this marketing thing for you, Helena, already. I'm going to work on this with you because you're multilingual. Has that helped with your acting at all here in Los Angeles?
That's an interesting question. It does and it doesn't at the same time. It does in the sense that sometimes I get cast for roles that require different languages. For example, I shot something for Amazon Photos in Italy and they needed somebody to speak Italian. And I was cast by an agency here in Los Angeles, but the project was for Italy. Every time there is some Italian involved or other languages involved, I get pass there. It's easier for me to get cast for those roles. But I think sometimes I have a smaller niche because of the accent. There are certain roles that perhaps I cannot do, not because I can necessarily perform them, but just because the story wouldn't make sense to adjust the character to the fact that I am Italian or I have an accent. So it happened to me a few times that there were some readjustments or rewriting of the character because of that. Or sometimes simply I play certain roles which usually are the evil ones or the villain because the accent, and every time, why I'm always playing the villain? Because of your accent. Okay. So sometimes it's a nice to have, but it might limit certain things. So it really depends.
It's really good to know that the writer or the director was able to change that for you. Even though if they want a certain person to cast, if you come in and really blow them away, they'll work with you.
Exactly.
Right?
It happened to me a few times already where they were able to change the story or part of it because they really liked my performance. They didn't think about the character having a background from Italy or from Europe. So they thought, oh, you know what? That's a great idea. Maybe I can add this in.
And change it. Oh, that's wonderful. That's good to know too. Gosh, you have all this great information, Helena. And speaking of giving out information, you created LA Creative Circle.
Yeah, I created this community a few years ago. LA Creative Circle is a community for actors. It's totally free. And I created out of the spirit of wanting to help others to get information, to get some knowledge, to explore more about the business and network and really help each other. That's it. So there is no profit involved, but it's mostly to give back to my community and help actors, but not just actors, any creative who is in LA, but also all over the world, because we do workshops every month online. We do also some in-person events in LA, but these are smaller and mostly is everything online. And every month I invite a different guest speaker. So we had producers, casting directors, we had vocal coaches, we had self-tape experts, mindset coaches, really everything. I like to cover different areas of the business and also see how this knowledge can help actors and performers to do a better job, to be better professionals, also to have a different mindset. Because a lot of the time it's about mindset in this business. We have a lot of rejection and a lot of lonely moments here when we are in our room doing our self-tapes, and we need that community aspect that I think is so important.
I agree with you. And it's called LA Creative Circle. And it's on social media.
Yeah.
You have an Instagram account. Is there any other social
There's a
media?
website and a Facebook group.
Okay, Facebook, Instagram, and then the website. Any of you that are listening, come on board and come to her Zoom meetings.
They are recorded. So I added a membership that is very affordable, and it's a brand new concept where you can access all the previous webinars and have all their resources offered. And so you can join this membership, or you can always join the workshops for free the first time. It's a community that is meant to be there to really help people get together and get more knowledge.
Great. That's really good. And that you're helping others too.
It's $10 a month, the membership, and it'll give you access to all the webinars from the past. So we have 2 years of webinars, and every month we have a new one. And then every month I share free resources like ebooks, lists, and advice on career. And also every month there is what I call the office hour with me. Is 1 hour that I'm online for Q&A, questions, and coaching, mentorship, and that's included in the membership as well.
That's really great. A lot of resources there for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. You're full of resources. This is wonderful, Helena. What are some of the challenges that you've came across coming to LA and starting your acting career again? What are some of the main challenges for you?
Yeah, I think one of the main challenge was related to the fact that I'm not American. And so coming as an international, wanting to live here is definitely challenging. One thing is to come here as a foreigner for a year, or to do a program in school, or to do a little internship. That's different. But when you want to move here to live here, and you really want to do a path to become resident and then in the future a citizen, there are some challenges which are normal in every country. So that has been quite challenging because, of course, you have to prove a lot of your work and have a lot of evidence of the reason why you want to be here. And it's a long-term project. Throughout the years, I try to make myself always mindful of the why I'm doing this and what is the end goal of this. That really helped me to guide me throughout these years that sometimes have been challenging because of that.
Has it been a challenge getting an agent here in Los Angeles?
I think with the agent is a little challenging to find a good one. I think there are plenty of agents, and I was lucky enough to find an agent quite soon. But the question is, do you get a good one? Someone who wants to work with you, really pitch you out there and really make your resume shining. You need a partner. There are a lot of actors in this town and a lot of agents. So it's really like about finding what is the best fit for you.
And personalities.
Yeah, personality.
They understand your vision as an actor.
Yeah.
And what type of roles you want to go for and how people perceive you.
Yeah. I think having an agent is not enough anymore. You want to find one that is good for you. And also, as you say, send you to the right direction, the right roles for you. The most challenging part is finding agents who you have time to talk to them and communicate to them. Sometimes everyone is so busy, so it's been a little challenging for that. But I recently had a change in my agents. And so I found a new agent like last week, literally. And so I'm very excited for this new collaboration.
And she understands where you want to go, how you want to get there, and type of roles that you want to play.
Yeah, we had an open communication. I think when you look for an agent, it's not about them picking you, it's you picking them as well. Because it's also you wanted to hiring them. So you want to find someone that works for you. And so we had that communication. And I think it's important. If for some reason things with your agent don't work, you're allowed to change an agent. You don't have to be stuck. Sometimes I hear actors who complain about the agents, but there are ways to find new agents. And I think you need to find another partner to work with you.
That's a partnership. And if they signed a contract, they have to stay with it.
That's true. Although you can change, I think every year you have a chance to renew every year.
Okay. That would be great to have something like that. So that's why it's so important for everyone to go to these classes at UCLA. I think there's some really good acting classes like at Pierce College as well. I don't know if they have acting business. I know there's acting classes. Go around, look in your community for classes, and acting or business part of acting is really important. Even business law is important because it teaches you all those contracts, helps with negotiations and aware of the language and what you can put into a contract, which is everything.
I had to work on a contract recently for a producing role, and I met an entertainment lawyer through networking, and I had a chance to have a chat with him about this contract expiring, because there are so many things we don't know about contract. And even having a chat with an entertainment lawyer really can open your eyes and be able to negotiate what you really need. And you're supposed to, you have the right in contract. So that's another way. If you know someone who does entertainment law, I would recommend keeping that contact very close to you.
I would love to have an entertainment lawyer here and interview them. I would love that. We talked about the challenges. What are your successes?
Yeah, I think moving here and acting in a different language from the beginning has been a success for me, because I would have never imagined that I would have done that a while ago. And being able to do several feature films and short films was really successful for me. I worked with amazing actors, and I also worked in theater here, independent theater in LA, which is a great community. I don't know if you've done theater here.
No, I haven't.
I would recommend, because it's a very nice experience. Those actors are amazing. They are amazing professionals. They work during the day. They do this just out of their passion for the craft. And I worked with Force of Nature production. They write, direct, produce original plays every year, and they put together these shows. They're amazing. The Brickhouse Theater in North Hollywood, and very nicely done. And it's a very great community of artists. I love it. I love to work with them a few times a year. Even though my career is mostly focused on films, I always try to have some time for theater during the year, because that's where the heart of creativity is for me. That impact with the audience live is something else.
It is. And then just the connection with the other actors. I have relationships with my theater actors actors still to this day because we bonded so much every night practicing and then having the show. That was called Brick House.
Brick House Theater.
Brick House Theater. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know. Anyone that's in Los Angeles and want to start some theater work, I know I might even check that one out.
Force of Nature Production is the production company that usually does these shows at the Brick House Theater.
Force of Nature Productions with Brick House Theater.
Yes.
Has wonderful theater shows and productions throughout the year.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What was your perception of Los Angeles before you came?
Always saw Los Angeles through the eyes of TV in Italy. The big movies in the 90s and early 2000s. There were all these action films and all these rom-coms grew up with. And so I had this magical view of Los Angeles and Hollywood and all these big celebrities. And when I moved here, you see the reality of the city is not just about the glitter and sparkle, but it is a real business. Apart from the big studios, which are the main ones out there, but there is a huge community of productions that work every single day. And I was not aware of how big and structured the business is in this town, apart from the big guys. So I learned so much about how this business machine works here. And I have to say, Los Angeles is still really exciting as I thought it would be. Maybe I have idolized it a little bit when I was younger, but when you come here and you start living here, you really see how beautiful it is living in Los Angeles. So many opportunities, so many chances. You can really do everything you want here. And I didn't have the possibility to do that in Italy. I want to say that there is a little bit more different mindset once you have a career. That's it. That's your career almost for life. This idea, I'm like in my mid-30s, I want to change and becoming an actor. That doesn't exist really. But here is a place where you can dream and your dream can become your reality for real. And that's what I thought Los Angeles would be. And I think that still is.
Possibilities, right?
Yeah.
The air of possibilities here.
Yeah, it's like smelling possibilities when you wake up.
So was there any surprises about Los Angeles coming from another country? You were in San Diego first, so San Diego is so different than Los Angeles.
I would say San Diego was the first stop in California. So when I moved to Los Angeles, it wasn't a big change because of that. I was already used to living here. I have to say San Diego is much more relaxed, slow pace than Los Angeles. So I'm glad I did that experience first. Probably Los Angeles as a first step from Italy would have been maybe a little hectic.
Culture shock, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So I'm happy I did San Diego first because it was a smaller dimension. I got used to here and then I moved to the big city. I would say I wasn't necessarily surprised. I think I didn't know that there are many cities within Los Angeles. So it's not just one big city. You can live in different places and really have your own small community in there. And it really changes depending where you live. So I was shocked at the beginning how people from West Side and East Side, how they don't want to commute to the other side. So for me, I was like, what is this about? So I noticed that big cities and big separations between the two sides. That was a little interesting for me.
Coming from Italy, do they do a lot of films, Italian films?
Yeah, there is a big industry. That's where also movies started in Europe. We have Cinecittà, which is the headquarters of films in Rome. And apart from Cinecittà, which is the historical place, there are a lot of other production sites now all over Italy. A lot of companies and productions are now also shooting in Italy from abroad because it's just so fascinating to shoot there. The scenery and everything can really tell beautiful stories with that background. There are a lot of moving parts in Italy and a lot of productions, great actors, trained actors, most of them coming from theater. There is a big theater culture in Italy. I see this happening more and more now, a lot of co-productions where there are Italian actors and maybe British or American actors working together in the same films, multiple locations. I see those cross-cultural projects happening more and more. I would have to say I did not work a lot in Italy because I mostly started doing films here when I moved here. I shot a film last summer, a feature film in Sicily though, with a production in Sicily. The film is called Killer Card. It's a thriller, psychological thriller. Yeah, very exciting. So for me, it was an amazing experience to come back home, to my hometown and shoot for 2 weeks film with an Italian production. I knew the producer already, and so we've been talking for a few years during pre-production. And then when they finally were ready to shoot last summer, I went there for several weeks and we shot the film.
Congratulations. That's a big success.
We can add it to the success question.
Yeah, for a feature film, right?
Because a feature film right now is being edited and it will go to distribution and also film festivals next year. All in Italian language, subtitled, all Italian actors. And it was a beautiful experience also to act in my own language, which I don't do that often anymore.
That's so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And do you have any suggestions or any kind of tips? I know you had some already, but do you have any other tips for anyone who's coming here from another country? Because that's basically your journey, coming here from a different country, but also multilingual and really want to break into the business in Los Angeles, or just anybody who wants to break into the business, acting business. Do you have any suggestions?
I have tons of suggestions. Let me think about it.
Oh, that's right, because you have the LA Creative Circle.
That's why I started that, because I have so many things to say and I needed an audience, right? But thank you for the question, because I really like that question and I've been asked a lot that. And I think my first answer is to have resilience, want to move here, and you have a big why. Just keep going and never stop, because it will happen. Your dream will happen. The question is, how much do you want to do it? Because I see a lot of people coming from other countries and with this idea of what acting in Los Angeles could be, what being an actor in America would entail. But then when they face the challenges of really being able to live here, especially as foreigners, there is a lot of backing up, unfortunately, because the challenges are quite big. I would say if it's what you want to do in your life, just keep going and never stop. Because being obsessed with it, I always say being obsessed. How obsessed are you? If you're not obsessed enough, don't come, because it's tough. And I want to be realistic with people. I do a lot of calls with friends or friends of friends who call me, hey, I know you live there. How can I get to LA? This is my path. Maybe I'm an actor or I'm an artist. I'm a dancer. I'm a singer. And I'd like to move to LA. What do I do? And I always ask them first, how much are you obsessed? If you're not obsessed, don't even think about coming, because it's a long-term process. It's been 6 years for me now, and I'm still trying to find my way there, and it will continue like that. I think really have a big why and also a lot of passion, but there are a lot of ways to come here, and once you are here, it's an amazing journey.
It's really interesting how this whole thing works now, that we can audition and send in auditions from all over the world.
Yes.
Is that something that is realistic, that someone, say, from Italy or another country can connect with an agent here, audition from there? Using what we do, we audition from home mostly.
If you live here first and then you travel, let's say, for example, I go to Italy once or twice a year. I always say to my agent, I'm going to Italy for a few weeks, and I audition from there once I'm there. But they know that my base is here. And so I usually tell people, don't even spend time trying to find an agent here if you are not here, because they're not going to get you any work. So you have to physically live here. Unless you're about to move and you have a specific date and a ticket to come here, and by the next 2 weeks you'll be here, I would say first manage, because it's true, you can do auditions from all this. They want you to be here, so it gets challenging. But if you're based and then you want to travel, absolutely. I bring my kit everywhere when I go, and I've done auditions in hotels and different places. So yeah, it's doable.
Have you been in auditions here in Los Angeles in person yet?
The funny thing, recently I saw a coming back of in-person auditions a little bit, although it's more time and takes definitely a chunk of your day. But I've got more success in the in-person auditions sometimes than in a self-tape, because I feel I could express more my essence or the essence of the character. There is something about human connection that you cannot neglect, is there.
And the energy too, just the energy of having them right in front of you. And
exactly. You cannot get to share that in a self-tape.
Yeah, it's very hard. You have to manufacture it.
Yeah. And also when you do in person, you have the certainty they've seen you. When you send a self-tape, maybe if you don't send it at the beginning, or maybe if you send it towards the end, I always think maybe they haven't even seen that.
That's true.
You know?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, going in person is so much better because you have a better chance.
Yeah, I believe so.
Can get lost or maybe not sent.
Yeah.
You never know. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. So I know so many people are against it. So it was nice to hear you saying the benefits are in going in person, because those tapes that you're doing, you're working hours and hours on these tapes. These actors work many hours, not only getting prepared, but setting this up, the light, editing it, to try to get the best of the best, because you're competing with people from all over.
It's a big competition out there. Sometimes when I talk to casting directors during my workshops, or if I get cast for a film and then they reveal to me how many auditions they got, sometimes they get to 1,000 auditions that they receive. And from 1,000, they get to, 20 and then 1. So you got to think of this number. Sometimes you're fine. You're right. You're a good actor. The fact that you haven't been cast, maybe they haven't even seen you, or there were so many people that had to pick one among thousands. So you see, if you change the perspective like that, a lot of people really blame themselves sometimes, or they're pretty hard on themselves if they don't get the role. But if you see those numbers, that's why I think it's really inspiring to talk to casting directors. It's amazing because you learn so much. When I interviewed mine, I learned so much that really helped me to change perspective.
That gets back to that point you were talking about, Helena, about having an agent that understands the type of roles. Because here's the thing, if you have an agent that's just throwing you out there or having you audition for all types of roles, and you don't have that essence, and the casting agent doesn't understand your essence, if you've been doing this for a long time, I'm understanding my essence and how people are perceiving me. And I'm looking to practice in my acting classes those type of roles. So when I get out there with an agent, hopefully I can find a partner who understands those are the roles that I want you to submit me for. I want to do these roles because I know I have a better chance based on my essence, not my personality, not who I really am, but my essence and how I'm perceived to the world. And that can be so different. I know there's some actors who act themselves and they're fine. You have a look that is so different than your personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is something that really is important to understand and finding a casting agent who gets that. And I think you have a better shot than doing hundreds of different auditions and you were far from that person or that role.
Yeah.
Because the world doesn't really see you that way.
Yeah. It's interesting you're mentioning that because there is an exercise we do in my acting school, which is called the branding exercise, where basically you sit in front of the audience in your class and without them knowing you, that's at the beginning when you join, they will have to guess your age range and the role types that you will perform. And you get a lot of answers, and sometimes what you think of yourself is pretty different from what other people think. And it's about also being very real with yourself. Some people think, oh, I can play 25 to 30, let's say, but in reality, no, you can play 30 to 35. So this type of thing, you gotta be very real with yourself. Maybe you want to play cop, or you want to play doctor, but your look is really like a nerd in a startup, and you gotta see that and things like that. So I think this type of exercises or experiences, even asking your friends, you pick 10 friends and ask them, what do you think I could play? What do you think my roles could be? And you get honest answers, and you really start really managing those roles and making sure that you are nailing them.
And there are some situations where you're nerdy, but it's asking for a nerdy doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then, so it's really good to still practice the different roles.
Oh, absolutely.
Study them, because there might be that one that just meshes your essence with what you studied and know of to be a doctor or an attorney.
Yeah.
But they want a nerdy attorney.
Yeah.
That may just be you because you've done the work and you know you have that nerdy essence. Now it's, okay, I've done work on attorney roles behind the scene. Now I can bring this and bring it. You have a better chance, I think, than trying to just throw spaghetti up against the wall and see what sticks.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. It's good to play every role, to practice everything.
Oh, it's fun.
Especially if you're in class, or even if you want to try auditions for roles that I usually don't do. You might get a good shot. Once I got cast as an announcer for a ballroom, like one of these very typical ball dances, and I'm not an announcer. It's not in my brand. But I got cast for it, and I had to make it work, and it was really fun. So it was out of what I usually do, but you can challenge yourself with those roles as well. It's fun. And also they stretch your skills. So always recommend that if you get cast for something that is not exactly in your brand, you don't have to say no. Actually, it could be a great opportunity.
Gosh, Helena, thank you so much. I love our conversation.
Yeah,
I love talking
you.
about acting, of course, and just your whole journey has been fascinating. And I'm definitely going to go on your LA Creative Circle and watch your movies as well. Do you have TikTok? Do you have any of those other social media?
I do have them all. Yeah, I also have TikTok, although I don't use that too much. But on Instagram, I am Helen of Sicily. That's my account. Also, my website is my name, helenageraci.com/portfolio. That's where you'll find all my info. And of course, you'll find me on IMDb as well.
I'm so happy that we had this discussion finally. It's been a long time coming. We both were really busy.
I know. I appreciate you inviting me and share everything that I know about my journey. I hope it can inspire other actors, international actors or American actors, everyone who wants to start this journey or who is already in this journey and needs a little bit of extra motivation, extra boost.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. We're here to inspire. Make sure that you share this podcast with all your friends and family or anyone who's interested in the entertainment industry, because we're here. We're going to be having other guests that come on board and sharing their story as well. With that, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, kindness still matters. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you.
As we wrap up, we encourage you to take action and support these up-and-comers as they continue to make their mark in Hollywood. Whether it's following their work, sharing their stories, or simply spreading the word, your support can make a real difference. And if you're looking to pursue a career in the entertainment industry, remember that perseverance and passion are key. Keep pushing forward and never give up on your dreams. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to sharing more inspiring stories and industry insights with you in the future. That's all for today's episode of Up-and-Comers Hollywood. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. And don't forget to leave a comment sharing your thoughts and any success stories you'd like us to feature in future videos. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams and embracing the magic of Hollywood. See you soon.